that heads up. City council meetings are open to the public attendance and participation. This meeting is being held in the council chambers and is also accessible via Zoom at the link identified in the agenda. If you are attending remotely and wish to comment on a specific item, please electronically raise your hand. Emailed comments sent and received by the city clerk at least 24 hours before the meeting were distributed to the city council prior to the meeting. Please note our city council meetings are now available in Spanish and Punjabi. In addition, worldly translation services are available to public in both the person and via Zoom. There's a QR code you can scan on the agenda to follow the meeting in your preferred language. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Boomgaarden.
Here.
Vice Mayor Pasquale.
Here.
Councilmember Cole is absent. Councilmember Kirchner.
Here.
Councilmember Shaw.
Here.
All right, tonight we're joined by Pastor Greg Mansour of the Adventure Church of Yuba City. He's going to lead our invocation and inspiration, and then we will transition to the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Shaw. Please rise.
All right, let's pray together. Our gracious Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to gather here tonight. We thank you and we continue to praise you for 250 years of freedom and blessing. And we thank you for this season that we are enjoying and for this council as they begin to deliberate and plan and make decisions. We pray that you'd give them wisdom. We pray for clarity. We pray for conviction. We pray for compassion. And that, Lord, you would grant upon them all that is necessary as they lead our city. We're so thankful for the men and women who serve us in uniform. Thank you for our police officers, firefighters, emergency medical services, all those, Father, who are before us and protecting us. Grant them your safety and watch care. Ask your blessing upon their families and to continue to provide for them in every way. Lord, we just love this community. We're so grateful that you've called us to this place. We ask for a hedge of protection around it. And Lord, whatever matters are before this council tonight, that you would grant wisdom and discernment, and we'll give you thanks and praise. In Jesus' name we ask it. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Greg. And Councilmember Shaw for the pledge. City Attorney's report on closed session items is our next item. Mr. Chaffin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. There was no reportable action taken in closed session.
All right, any agenda modifications? Seeing none. Public communications, item number 1, appearance of interested citizens. You are welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment is taken on action items appearing on the consent calendar or business items on the agenda when they are called. Public comment on any other items within the scope of the city's jurisdiction, including items not listed on the agenda, will be considered at this time. If you are attending remotely and wish to comment, please electronically raise your hand and wait to be called. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Repetitive comments may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group. Do we have any comments from the public tonight here in the chambers? Yes. Please, to the podium behind you, make sure the buttons.
So, sir, you submitted a card for item 12. Do you have a general public comment as well? Okay.
Okay, well, anybody? Okay, how about online? Nobody? Okay, nobody online. Consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time that the council votes on the motion unless members of the city council request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual actions. Due to real property interests, we anticipate and acknowledge the following recusals. In item number 7, this lighting and landscaping maintenance district number 1, myself and Vice Mayor Pasquale will need to recuse. On item number 8, lighting, landscaping maintenance district 2 through 4, myself and Councilmember Shaw will need to recuse. In item 9, lighting and landscaping district maintenance districts 5 through 9, myself, Councilmember Kirchner, Vice Mayor Pasquale, and Councilmember Shaw will be into a straw poll that will be held and led by our city attorney. And item number 10 will require Councilmember Kirchner's recusal. Before we move forward, I'd like to ask our city attorney, Shannon Chaffin, to walk us through the process for items 7 through 10, the lighting and landscape maintenance districts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. As you know, in order to take any action, you need 3 people, 3 city council members to approve it. Councilmember Cole is unavailable this evening. We do not have time to continue this matter to when she is available because there are mandatory state deadlines that have to be met. That being the case, law does allow that recused individuals may, by a random method of selection, be selected so you can have at least 3 council members to take action. So we're going to do that this evening. For item 7, we have Councilmember Kirchner and Shaw who are not recused on that item. However, Mayor Boomgaarden and Mayor Pasquale, Vice Mayor Pasquale are recused. We have the colors orange and we have the colors yellow that the city clerk is going to draw from here. Mayor, could you pick either yellow or orange? You're orange. That makes Councilmember Pasquale yellow. And the color, I think, is yellow. I can't tell. Orange. Okay, I'm colorblind. That really helps. So the mayor will be participating on this one. Councilmember Pasquale will be the one who is recusing himself for the purposes of voting on this item. For item number 8, we have 2 individuals. We have Mayor Boomgaarden, Councilmember Shaw. Mayor, we still want to go with orange? Okay, and Councilmember Shaw will be yellow. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So Councilmember Shaw will be participating in this item as item yellow. For item number 9, we have Vice Mayor Pasquale and Mayor Boomgaarden who are not recused, but we do have Councilmember Shaw and Councilmember Kirchner who need to draw straws. Councilmember Shaw, are you fine with sticking with yellow? Alrighty. Thank you, Councilmember Kirchner. You will be orange. Yellow. So Councilmember Shaw will be participating in item number 9. Councilmember Kirchner will not. And then on number 10, we do not need to draw straws. Councilmember Kirchner will be recusing. So just to summarize, item number 7, Councilmembers Kirchner, Shaw, and Mayor Boomgaarden will be participating. Vice Mayor Pasquale will be recused. Item 8, Mayor Boomgaarden, Councilmember Shaw, and why do I have Councilmember Shaw twice? This is not good. Hold on. You're out on number 8. Boomgaarden, Shaw, sorry, and Kirchner. Oh, so Councilmember Kirchner. Yes. That is correct. So Councilmember Kirchner, Vice Mayor Pasquale, Councilmember Shaw will be participating on that one. And then on number 9, Vice Mayor Pasquale, Mayor Boomgaarden, and Councilmember Shaw will be participating on that one. And on number 10, everybody will be participating except for Councilmember Kirchner. I think we are done. All we need to do is have our public comment and then everybody can vote and the minutes will reflect the proper recusals. Thank you.
Okay, just so I'm making sure I'm following this. So are we going to remove 7, 8, 9, and 10 from?
No, we can do a consistent vote up and down, just no discussion on it.
Okay.
After public.
We don't have to actually physically leave.
Not in this particular case.
Okay, now I got it then. Okay. Do we have any comments in the chamber on consent calendar items 2 through 10? Not seeing any. Do we have any comments from on the line?
No public comment.
Okay. Bring it back to the council for action on the consent calendar. So this is where I'm stuck, Shannon.
You had Through the mayor, Mr. Chaffin, who has the least amount of recusals? Is that Councilmember Kirchner?
Why don't we do this by consensus without a motion?
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Works.
Okay, is there a consensus? If I could see all of you say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's it?
Done.
Perfect. All right. Our business items. Item number 11, Merrimack Village Apartments Phase 1 Home Key Plus grant applications presented by Mr. Doug Libby, who is our Development Services Director.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Good to be with you tonight. So this next item, Habitat for Humanity desires to pursue additional grant funding through State Housing and Community Development, or HCD, for Home Key Plus program for Phase 1 for Merrimack Village, which is located at 428 North Walton Avenue. I think you know that's the Phase 1 is under construction currently. Now, the city previously approved the development plan for the project, which provides for 217 affordable units. Phase 1 is 79 units, which is under construction, as I noted, provides for parking, landscaping, and support infrastructure. Historically, they've wanted to do the project in Phase 2, but it also depends upon how their funding comes in. And so in this slide, we've kind of laid out the option of a potential Phase 3. So but if possible, they would do everything in Phase 2, which comprises the remaining 138 units. And if they need to break out the clubhouse and facilities building, that could be a Phase 3. Here's the site plan, Building 4, which is along Walton Avenue, shown in yellow. That's the Phase 1 building under construction currently. And you could see the remaining structures that will ultimately be built on the site. You might remember that HCD approved an award of $24.6 million through the Home Key Grant Program for Merrimack. $22.6 million goes towards construction, with the remaining amount being used for operating expenses for the project. So there was a funding gap, which is part of the delay for the project getting under construction, and Five Star Bank was able to provide Habitat for Humanity with a line of credit, which provided for full project financing. Habitat has learned recently that it is eligible to apply for Home Key Plus funding to support Merrimack Phase 1. So based on their eligibility requirements, they would like to apply for up to $10 million in additional funding. And if successful, that would eliminate the need for Five Star Bank line of credit and could provide additional funding of operating costs once Phase 1 is up and running. Now, Habitat for Humanity is not requesting additional financial support from the city. They are asking the city participate as a co-applicant for this additional Home Key Plus funding, similar to past applications. And as joint applicants, the city becomes jointly financially responsible for the successful delivery of the project or return of the grant funds to the state. If an award is made, the city would require similar contractual assurances used for Phase 1, and amendments to the existing agreements would be needed and would necessitate us to come back to the city council with those. I think it's important to note there is not a general fund impact for this item. As your council knows, you can say no to this. You're not obligated to be a co-applicant with Habitat for Humanity for this item. The recommended action, though, is to adopt a resolution authorizing a joint application with Habitat for Humanity to apply for the Home Key Plus funding through the state HCD Home Key Plus program for Merrimack Village Phase 1. And happy to answer any questions. We do have representatives from Habitat for Humanity here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Libby. One thing that I'd like to try to reinstate here, or at least consider with council's approval. You know, we've walked through this project from the beginning with myself and former mayor, former Councilmember Harris, and then subsequent ad hoc committees. And I think it would be worthwhile at this point maybe to get together again, put together an ad hoc committee of a couple of our council members just to check in. If we're going to again, get ourselves into an application. I think it's prudent for us to sit down, make sure that everything that we have, I'm not saying that it hasn't been by any way, shape, or form, just kind of get a status check about what's going on at our council level, and work with Habitat as we have in the past, and check in with the contractor also as we have in the past. So, before we get into any questions, I'm wondering about council's thoughts on that.
Through the mayor, totally in favor of that. I think it'd be prudent.
Through the mayor, would that necessitate shelving this item?
No, I don't think so. I just think it's just time for us to, sit down and with the parties like we have in the past, and just, again, be a partner.
I would support that.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that we're not a partner. It just seems to me like at this time. So now we just need to, I guess the former ad hoc committee was yourself, Vice Mayor, and Councilmember Cole. Mm-hmm. Do we want to stay that way? Do we want to change that up? I'm comfortable with.
I'd be more than happy to fill it.
We good with that? Okay. So with consensus then. All right. That being said, questions for Mr. Libby first.
Through the mayor, Mr. Libby, I know you, I think it was on bullet 3 that you had down. Could you bring that? There we go. Okay. That being said, the monies that you're going after now that can be used for the phase 1, not just to do the backfill, but can be used because I got a concern with the fact that I know the Habitat was going to do a lot of the finish work for that. Do you plan on using this money to get this project over the hill with you not having to do that you're going to use those monies? Because that would be something that would be a great concern to me, because I know it's the capacity to do something like that could delay getting this done in a timely manner, since you are going to jump in and try to do a phase 2. That would be, so it is available for those types of things.
Yes.
Okay. You answered my question.
Any others?
The mayor.
Sure.
Mr. Libby, I just want to make sure I'm clear on this, because this additional Home Key Plus is to backfill the line of credit. So we're not looking at building any additional units right now. It's just the original 4-story complex that's along Walton, correct?
That's correct. I would note that back December 2nd of last year, your council authorized the Home Key Plus application for phase 2. And so that is being moved along separately.
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I was getting. So use this very lightly, but as loose as the governor's gotten with money, giving it out, if we have any left, can it be rolled over to phase 2, or is it, as Home Key has been before, it's an unknown, and we may end up consuming it all if you guys are, going to not have the work done by you guys and have it actually.
I need Habitat's help on this, but so for this application, it's to just support the phase 1 project only.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions from the council? All right. Any comments from the public? None? Anybody online?
No public comment.
All right, back to the council for action.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
I move that we adopt a resolution of the City Council of City Yuba City authorizing a joint application with Habitat for Humanity Yuba-Sutter to apply for the Home Key Plus funding through the State Department of Housing and Community Development for Merriment Village Phase 1 to complete the 79 affordable housing units located on Walton Avenue.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Shaw, second by Vice Mayor Pasquale. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, item number 11 passes unanimously. Here we go. Thank you, John and staff. Okay. The fear was coming. All right. All right, number 12, code enforcement citation fines. This will also be presented by Doug Libby, our Development Services Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, for this next item, so the purpose of this item is to recover unpaid code enforcement citation fines by placing them on the secured tax roll in the same manner as the general taxes and directing that a lien also be placed on the subject properties. So a little history, the city did an overhaul of its nuisance ordinance back in 2020. And then in 2022-23, we established an administrative hearing officer to hear individual cases and provide for administrative review on an as-needed basis. And the hearing officer typically participates when somebody receives a citation. They have within 15 days, they can basically file an appeal, and then that third-party administrative hearing officer would hear the case. So I think it's important to say up front, code enforcement's goal is always to bring a property into compliance with our municipal code. Only when a case remains unresolved, progress is not moving forward, are citations issued as a mechanism to bring a property into compliance. Now, historically, the city, we haven't done a great job of collecting unpaid fines, but we changed that in 2024. And so this is now an annual process in July where we come forward, similar to unpaid utility bills. And collection does help offset a portion of the cost of the code enforcement program's general fund impact. So for this item, we have 103 unpaid citations with a total value of $64,800. Now, staff reviewed the cost and in some circumstances limited the total fines to be collected to avoid situations where we weren't running up bills that were just so high there was no chance somebody could pay them. We don't want to get into that situation. So for all these cases, the total cost, we never went over $6,000 total for any one case. So we limited it to that. So for public outreach, so when we issue citations, a citizen has 15 days, it's written on the citation, they can file an appeal. But in addition to that, this year we mailed out invoices on January 29th and May 7th. And none of the affected property owners requested administrative review pursuant to the municipal code. And finally, a 15-day notice for this meeting was mailed on June 17th, which is actually more than 15 days. Now, the municipal code states that during the city council meeting, this meeting, you may adopt a resolution confirming the amount of the penalties and costs or a lesser amount based on staff's reports and any public comments received. The council shall take into consideration whether any notice party sought administrative review of the cost and shall only reduce the cost if, one, the notice party sought administrative review, and second, the decision of the city manager or designee, which is myself in this case, is not supported by substantial evidence in the record. The basis of the code enforcement action will not be the subject of the city council's consideration. Municipal code provides the administrative review procedures. Now, I want to emphasize that none of the property owners included in the proposed resolution submitted requests for administrative review. So the recommended action is to conduct a public hearing and adopt a resolution for the inclusion of unpaid code enforcement citation fines on the secured tax roll in the same manner as the general taxes, and directing that a lien also be placed on the subject properties. Now, staff's here to answer any questions. I have one of our code enforcement officers, Austin Piven, here, who can provide some additional detail if warranted. For each case, we tried to have a slide that brings up information about the case, how many notices, how many citations. So if a citizen gets up and provides their address, we can forward to that particular slide to have more detail about it available. So with that, that would conclude my comments. Thank you.
And before we go any further, Mr. Mayor, we have an individual online who is dropping inappropriate comments and offensive language. I would prefer not to go into the N-word multiple times. So with your nod and approval, that person is now considered a disruptive speaker and will be shut down from the chat and prohibited from here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions before we open up the public hearing for Mr. Libby?
Through the mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Levy, I just want to be crystal clear on the understanding of the hearing on this, because even though you said you have photos and the histories of all the properties and stuff, for what we are undertaking tonight, it's not a question of whether it was a code violation or anything. It's simply, did any of the proposed assessments seek the 15-day review and go through that process? Because that's the delineating factor, correct? Okay, so it's not whether there was infraction or not. It's, did they follow the process or not? Okay.
Sorry, the mic got turned off. Did they explore all their administrative remedies that were available to them?
Right.
From the time the citation was issued, they could appeal, to the invoices that were issued, they can file for administrative review. And then here we are tonight.
Okay. Follow-up question, then, with everything that's being brought to us tonight before we go into the public hearing, everything has walked through that. We verified that they did or did not do everything they were supposed to reach this point. There's no question in that.
Correct.
Okay. All I had.
Councilmember Kirchner, any questions for Mr. Libby? Okay. The public hearing for code enforcement citation fines is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on this issue, please provide your statement from the podium and state your name and address for the record. I do have 2 speaker cards in the order that I was provided with them. The first one is Mr. Grant Peterson. You could please.
Members of the council, my name is Grant Peterson, reside at 580 Estates Drive, Yuba City. Here in protest of the respective code enforcement violation related to a abandoned chicken coop that essentially, this is related to feral chickens that migrated from the Winco parking lot. We live in close proximity to Winco, and these feral roosters ended up in our chicken coop. I mean, the bottom line here is that, the issue of feral chickens in the city is no big secret. And whether it's the Rayleigh's parking lot or Winco or other places in between, there's a real problem that the city and the county, for that matter, have failed to take action on. And to hold the homeowners responsible for the city's failure it's a big, it's the definition of hypocrisy in my humble opinion. We did take appropriate steps we effectively abandoned our chicken coop. The roosters that we were erroneously cited for, were removed from the premises, and they were feral roosters that we did not have any responsibility with planting them there ourselves because we only had hens that were our responsibility. But be that as it may, we did have communication with a couple of the code enforcement officers. We were told that they would come back out after the initial citation the initial notification was made to us in August of last year. They were supposed to come back out it was in September, and there was no evidence that they did. There was no evidence that we were aware of in that, they did not knock on our door. They did not identify themselves, did not, it wasn't until we received a subsequent notice that we were still out of compliance, which is utterly false. So anyway, I formally dispute this code enforcement violation. We have photographic proof that the respective coop has been abandoned. We effectively, the hens, we effectively relocated or gave the hens away. The feral roosters, those were given away as well. So I'm just really, here, for the city to address their own shortcomings as it applies to this issue. And I'm sure I'm not the only person or the only homeowner who's ever been, cited in this regard. So, that being said, I appreciate your time and your objectivity as it applies to removing this item from my subject property.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Libby, any comments?
This was a case from our former code enforcement officer that departed in February. Austin, do you have any details you can share? Austin Piven is one of our code enforcement officers.
Yeah, hi, my name is Austin Piven. I'm one of the code enforcement officers for the city. A little bit of details about the case is when we were collecting evidence for the violation from the outside of the house, we were able to hear roosters crowing in the background coming from the residents' backyard. There were multiple hens free roaming in the area. And in addition to that, we also were able to peer through a fence and see multiple roosters through the property.
Sure. Please state your name.
My name is Jill Peterson, and so I started this chicken coop, and I had all hens. We have an orchard area, and the roosters would come over through the yard from Little John, and we would shoo them away. I didn't have a complete cover, but I had them fenced in with an actual coop. It was a gradual process where they just started. It's like they were seeking out, food or something. I'm not quite sure. But when I received the first notice, my daughter and I were able to go out and catch a couple of these roosters and relocate them. So I got rid of the ones that I could get. And it said on the notice that they would come out and do an inspection on September 25th. And there was like a little window there. And I have a special needs son, and my mother lives with me, and my daughter's there every day. No one ever came out. No one came out to do the inspection. So I got a fine for $100 in the mail. So I called the code enforcement, the person that no longer is here, and I spoke with him on the phone, and he said, yes, no, I never came out personally. No, I never came out to see your property. I have given away my hens to my friend out in the country. I have no chickens. I have no roosters. I complied to the request. I got tired of shooing off these wild roosters from my house, to be honest with you. I would love to have a chicken coop, but I'm not going to have one until the rooster issue is taken care of. It was just too much work for me. And anyhow, so when I got this notice here, it's just, I don't know. I was just really set back because I did exactly what was asked of me on the first notice. I got rid of the roosters. I got rid of my hens, and no one came out to do an inspection. So I was surprised that I just got a $100 notice in the mail with no follow-up. And the guy, when I called him, he goes, oh, I wish you would have called me first, because now that the fine's gone out, he goes, there's nothing I can do to help you. So that's why I'm here. And I have pictures of my property. I have no hens and I have no roosters. So thank you for hearing my side.
Through the mayor, Ms. Chafin, is it all right if I see their pictures?
Absolutely.
I see your pictures?
I suggest giving them to the city clerk, and the city clerk will distribute them.
Give him this, you need to give him to the city clerk.
And so to be clear, when you're handing us your phone, no bailment's being created. You're doing so at your own risk if we drop it. Just to let you know. Sorry, I'm an attorney. I got to say that every time.
May I touch your phone? So the date, these are dates. So you still have the chicken coop?
We just want to, yes, we just want to make sure that you're heard by everybody. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. The chicken coop is empty and I have no chickens on my property. And those pictures were sent to me from my daughter today. She's at my house currently.
Mr. Libby, was this citation for the coop? Is that what's going on? Or
It's for having a rooster.
just having their,
It's for the roosters.
oh,
And so, because you can have a certain number of chicken hens within the city limits.
okay.
But the problem, yeah.
But I would just note that the citations issued lay out the appeal process,
Right.
and the appeal was never submitted. It lays all that out on the citation.
It does say on the citation, if I may comment, that there's going to be a in-person inspection. And so I was expecting this person to come out and inspect my property. So I took care of the roosters and I gave my hens away before the deadline of September 25th. I mean, it gave me about 3 weeks, I think, if I recall. And, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done with this because it's just a joke, honestly, with these wild roosters coming into my yard. I mean, how am I supposed to control that? Our whole entire neighborhood has issues with it, all the way down Richland, all the way down Little John, all the way down Franklin, all the way down Bridge, all the way around Carl's Jr. I'm like, who's writing them citations? It's a horrible problem. People go to our supermarkets and drop their roosters off there, and they make their way into our neighborhoods. It's a nuisance, and honestly, something needs to be done. I asked this person that I called that wrote the first citation, I go, what can I do? Who can I call to help me get rid of these wild roosters? He said, you're going to have to catch them yourself. We don't have anybody. I go, I am 57 years old. I cannot run after these wild roosters. That's ridiculous. And he goes, well, if you catch one, you can call the pound. They might come and pick it up.
So through the mayor, we have way exceeded our 3 minutes, including the photos.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Through the mayor.
Could we make sure she gets her phone back?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
through the mayor. Mr. Libby, can I make the assumption that he's typically code enforcement, my knowledge, is a lot of this stuff is complaint driven. Can I make the assumption that it was a noise complaint originally? Okay. All right. Thank you.
So I'm trying to understand the process here, Mr. Chaffin. We can continue to hear from speaker cards who have complaints about individual cases. Are we supposed to be dealing with these on a case-by-case basis, or I understand completely, I think, Councilmember Shaw's questions about administrative process and non-complying, or at least not taking advantage of those administrators, but I'm a little lost here about what our abilities really are.
Let's start. Thank you very much. The first thing is the issue of public comment. Any individual can come up and make their case as appropriate, and they may continue to do so for the duration of this item. Once public comment has been closed, the city council has authority to consider whether or not the technical processes were followed. So here the question is, was an appeal timely filed or not? That being said, council does retain some inherent authority to control its own resolution as to what items are actually placed on that resolution. Council also has authority to authorize staff to remove an item from the resolution, the list on there, if the properties are now compliant. So what I have seen some councils do in other locations is they will approve the resolution, authorizing it, but also authorize a city manager or designee to do a final confirmation as to property number, blah, 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 to see whether or not is it in compliance. If the property is not in compliance, Doug, tell me that I'm wrong, then there wouldn't be a levy at that particular point. But really, that's that's about the outside of your scope of authority, really to stay within the straight and narrow way, as they say. The question is, did you get the notice? Yes or no? Did you timely file an appeal? Yes and no. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So it sounds to me like, thank you for your comments on Mr. Peterson and Ms. Peterson. It sounds to me like we need to hear from our next speaker before we make any other take any other action. So next speaker card I have is from Mr. James Ratliff.
James Ratliff, 1338 Hun Road. This is in regard to a property I have on the corner of Frederick and Cooper, 510 Cooper. It's a project that we've been sitting on for some time. Used to be a wild, abandoned property where you couldn't even see any of the homes, or you can barely even walk into the property. When I purchased the property, we cleaned it and leveled it all off and kept it up the best we could. It's pretty tough with the schools and the traffic, and also the apartments that are next to us that make their way driving through the property, building ruts and throwing trash, et cetera, and parking. Been quite a challenge. I received this letter regarding a notice of compliance to keep the property to a certain respectful eye appeal. And at the time, I was in UCSF with my mom and wasn't aware that the property didn't get its regular mowing as other development properties I have. I have a gentleman that goes around and usually cleans them all up. Apparently he was sick. His name's Henry Estrada. He was sick, and he said he'd get to it as soon as he can. I spoke to the enforcement that they had at the time, Boone, and he was okay to, just as long as him and I had conversations or communication, he was okay with us to, when I get there, to get it cleaned up. And when I got back, I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to get it taken care of. Apparently Henry's machine's down. He's still not feeling good. But there's so many ruts that were developed through all the traffic from the apartments and so forth and the trash. I had to go rent a piece of equipment over at Twin City Rentals, which was on June 20th. And we did everything we could to make the property look right. And that communication was understood with Boone. Apparently he didn't articulate it back to staff. And I know Mr. Libby keeps saying, well, you know, there's an appeal process. Well, paper and having a conversation with enforcement and enforcement not going back to staff and saying, hey, this is okay, let's just put it on the back burner because we have an understanding of what the gentleman's going to do with the property. So I have some discrepancies with, and I understand the process, Mr. Libby, truly, but I do think that when you're having a conversation versus texts and emails and mail, I think having a conversation like we're having now, it has a little more teeth, if you will, than going through this formality of paperwork that or papers that they send that isn't necessary. So we did what we were going to do. I thought this was an oversight, to be honest with you, when they sent me a bill for the property not being recognized as being cleaned or wasn't done in an appropriate time, I had conversations with the previous enforcer. Apparently, he's no longer with the city. I don't know if it's something you need to circle back and bring him in and have a conversation. But it sounds like a lot of the folks had conversations with them. I can't speak for all of them, and maybe it was the same circumstances as myself. But again, this kind and compassion thing that Pastor said previously, we need to take in consideration. There's some folks here too. There's what he had 164 folks that have unreasonable blight or things they need to do on their property. Some can't do it, you know. So
I need you to wrap up. I'm sorry because of the time frame. I've got the gist of what what you're bringing to us to consider. Consider. So
please, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Please.
Council. My name is Ruth Oberlin. For the first time, I see Austin Piven, who I have spoken to numerous times on the phone. Last summer was a extremely busy, hectic time, and this was before we found out that our son, our 40-year-old son, got cancer, tonsil cancer, and he was just getting ready to fix this box truck for his work, and everything fell apart. When I say that, I mean he found out he has cancer. I don't know why I can't talk, probably because I'm in front of the public. But anyway, so everything went, I mean, there was nothing we could do. You know, nobody knew he was going to have cancer. And everything, there was just so much involved. I wrote a 7-page letter, and I dropped it off to Austin Piven. My husband and I were in the car. We got this notice about approximately 6 months later, saying that we were going to have this $100 fine, which I thought, after I had spoken to Mr. Piven and I explained everything to him, and I said, he's going through chemo and radiation. There's nothing he can do until he gets over this. And I said, once he gets over this, he will be able to work on the box truck, which was in the middle of our driveway. It was to the side, and my husband asked him to move it to the middle of the driveway because he wanted our grass to get sunlight. And he thought that would be blocking the sunlight. So, I was just absolutely shocked after going through everything with Mr. Piven. And then in February, I get this notice that I'm required to still pay this $100. I was shocked. We moved into this neighborhood now 36 years. It wasn't even built. It was being built when we purchased it. We are probably out of the 42 homes, we are probably in the upper division of having the nicest house out of those 42 homes. And then for somebody to turn us in over this box truck was shocking. Not to mention that I could look across the street at a house on the corner where 2 teachers have purchased that house and let no kids, and they have 5 dogs, but they have weeds. They don't now, finally, but for probably 2-3 years, right, honey? We had weeds that were like 15 feet tall. We had a house 3 streets down or 2 streets down for probably 15 years, without exaggeration.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think you've made your case for your property, and I hate to cut you off, but we do have 3 minutes.
Okay.
3-minute limit.
Can I just ask one thing? Where did who read these 7 pages? Because I was told by the supervisor, he talked to the supervisor told Mr. Piven to have me write a letter. I personally came down here and hand delivered it to Mr. Piven. He wasn't in. The lady wouldn't even take it, so I went over to the water department, and Samantha knows me. She's known me since my child was 5 years old. She said, Ruth, I don't have a problem giving it to Mr. Piven at all. So who read this, and where's the original letter?
So hopefully we can get you an answer, but because this is public comment period, this isn't a question and answer period for the public.
Okay.
But I'm sure someone from the department will get with you and answer that question for you.
And if either one of you would like to look at my house, I have a picture of what it looks like with the truck.
I would like,
Happy to show you.
I'd be happy to see it.
Okay.
Did you submit it to the city clerk first on the right-hand side? Thank you so much. And again, the same caveat as before, you're giving us your phone at your own risk. No bill that's being created. Thank you.
Oh, that's okay.
So it's the white truck up on the blocks? Okay.
Yeah. And so,
That's today? Is it a current picture? Is this today?
oh no, that's been gone since December. He had surgery October 30th, and when he was able to get well enough, he fixed it, and it's been off the track.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think there's another speaker. Thank you for your comments. Next, please state your name.
Sir, my name is Jagdeep Gill, and I received this. Actually, I bought this property on B Street, I think in 24, and I was citation got like 2 times, but they never received. I never received it. I think they was sending to the wrong address or something, maybe to the who was a previously owner or something. Then finally, I received 1 citation, and it had both of them citations in there together. And I did got to the fire department because of the grass was not cut. And when I went there, they said it need to be cut. So I spent like $700, got it all cut up and cleaned. And then I even called them to like make sure if there is anything else you guys need me to get done. They said we will check and write it off. But I never received anything after that. And this letter I received in June, this one. And I never received one in January either. The one I think you guys said you guys sent it in January to solve this problem. But this is the second time I've received, and this is so I never knew this was solved or not.
Have you made contact with the city at all since you did receive the notices?
Yes, I did. Not the city. I think the fire department wrote the citation for because the grass was tall. And so I did take care of it, and I did call right on the spot that, can you guys come and check if anything, because it have some trees too. They said need to be trimmed down and stuff. And I got that done as well. And I don't know, but it was not, I never received anything after that. And this is the second time I received, and it was still not unsolved. I didn't know that it was.
Do we have a picture of that one, Doug?
We do not have photos of the grass, the uncut weeds, but I can tell you that both code enforcement and the fire inspectors, they make those visits, they make those kind of determinations. And we often see that we don't get a response until a citation's been issued.
I'm familiar.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? All right. Anybody online? Oh, we have one more? Thank you. Please. Can we have Dave's got a good question. Can we just bring her the portable mic? You can have a seat right there. We'll bring a mic to you. Good call.
I'm going to have someone translate me because I can't understand what they were saying. Because I can't really leap that far away.
Okay.
Do we have Wordly available on our phone? But I'm assuming she can read a screen. It's too small. Is there any way we have a capacity to broadcast the screen? And not this quick? Okay. She can do one-way communication. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, in March the 2nd, I just had cancer surgery. A week and a half later, I went over to the city hall when I received the notice to pay the bill, what they call, the fine. Well, I had it. He told me to come in the next day, 8 o'clock, to make that appointment scheduled to talk to it, because I couldn't afford it to pay it. I thought if I could make another arrangement. The next day, I arrived at 8 o'clock at the city hall. He didn't show up. So we made a second appointment. I told him I'm not running up the trouble. I'm too sick after the surgery. Have him come to my house where I live, because I cannot talk on the phone. Because my hearing, I would not understand everything. I waited. So he was supposed to show up the next day. I waited from 8 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. And remember, I forgot I had another arrangement. I had to go at 2 o'clock. He didn't show up. In the middle of March, I ended up in the ER with a heart contraction. And then I spent a whole month of March healing. Part of April to healing after the surgery for the tube draining. And I spent a whole month in April was scheduled for radiation treatment. I didn't have time to go to City Hall. I didn't have time to take care of this. I spent too much time in and out of the doctor's surgeon, in and out of the eye doctor, day after day, week after week. Finally, I went through the whole month of April. Then I had scheduled radiation treatment in June the 2nd. I spent 4 days a week, a whole month of June, all in May 2nd. I'm sorry, May the 2nd, through the whole month, 4 days a week of radiation treatment. Until June the 16th was my last day. I ended up in the ER and found I had an infection. They sent me home the next day on Wednesday. They went back to the ER again and found out I had another radiation infection. 3 infection, 1 non-infection. I spent 3 days in the hospital with the infection and battling that. I didn't have time to deal with them. I didn't have time to come here. And I didn't have time trying to scramble the money together trying to pay the bill, the fine. And I was going to talk to them if I can make it a payment or work it out, because they did not show up to 2 meetings scheduled I did.
That's the time. The time is up. provide maybe a little more about where this is and what the violation is?
Austin, do you know the specific location of this one? Because I can tell you that this is an uncut weed violation. It's gone back. It's been a regular occurrence, but this particular fine is from 2025. So whether or not it was code enforcement doing the inspection or it could have been fire, I don't know which, but that's the basis of the violation.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Close the public hearing. Bring it back to the council.
Through the mayor. Mr. Libby, just after hearing everything, I had a couple of questions that I need clarification on here, because it sounds like most of the fines that we're dealing with are a year or so old. Roughly seemed like last September, October timeframe initially. Am I correct in that?
So it would have occurred in 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last year. Okay. When they get the code or the fines, it has the language on that about the 15-day appeal.
Yes.
And then we didn't do anything until this, well, whatever happened, but last month is the June you're talking about that we sent the bills that they keep having that still has a 15-day appeal process in that, correct?
Yes, there's a provision for administrative review in the invoices that we sent this spring twice.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get to. And on those, of all the ones you brought us, no one read the bill, even though we've heard tonight from several people that they didn't think it was there. They got a bill that told them how to fix it, but no one went through that 15-day window process.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That was my question, I don't know if any other council has questions before. I mean, I have thoughts, but I don't want to go into them unless somebody else has questions.
No, I don't have a question. I have observations.
Through the mayor, yeah, I do have a question. It seemed like in a couple of these situations, a common theme was that there was an employee that initially was with the city and now isn't. Is that correct? For code enforcement?
Yeah, so we had a code enforcement officer depart in February.
Okay. That was my question.
This is tough. As you probably know, having spent a few years in the fire department dealing with weed and grass complaints aren't new to me, and I understand how those things tend to work and the process where people do and don't take care of those. I'm going to call out specific cases of those that were brought here to me tonight that I'm struggling with, to be honest with you, only because it seems to me, for instance, in the Peterson case, we do have a feral chicken problem, and it's not beyond my belief that chickens can fly around and land in people's yards, especially given the particular location they're in. I was at Winco, actually at IHOP this morning for a Kiwanis meeting, dodging chickens in the parking lot. So, I mean, I get it, and I understand, the difficulty. Mr. Ratliff, I'm very familiar with your property there at Frederick. I do know that is a constant problem in regards to access. In a perfect world, I suppose we could say, hey, Mr. Ratliff, fence that off and that would take care of your problem. But why, again, that seems a bit onerous as well. I don't know what the current state of the property is. It seems to me that you were working with staff, and we don't have access to the other side of the story from the departed staff person, which is to me a little, I always like to get both sides, and I understand Boone is now gone. So without being able to say, hey, look, did you have that agreement with Mr. Ratliff? Did you have visits with Mr. Peterson? I'm sorry, I didn't catch the other lady's name. Did we have those levels of conversation? It puts me in a position of saying, hey, look, what's the current status of these particular properties? And, where are they abated? Are they still, still problems? It sounds to me that their problem was taken care of in December. But we don't have that continuity of the inspector, I guess, unless Austin was there. And trust me, I know the job code enforcement is extremely tough, and I have nothing but a tremendous amount of respect for the burden and the load that we've placed on our code enforcers. So this isn't to say that I'm saying anything about them. It's just, as represented, it seems to me that the departure puts us in a bit of a spot. Even though the administrative process, I get it, but if people are reaching out, but they're not, or they're carving out agreements, or they're unable to make it to City Hall, and we say we're going to show up, it places us in a position of, look, is the thing taken care, in my opinion only, is the thing taken care of now? If it is, okay. And if it isn't, then, shame on them for coming and saying that it is. But I guess that's kind of where I'm at, my fellow council member.
Through the mayor. So sorry to interrupt the process. Just realized we did not do the SB 707 online portion of the public hearing. So could you reopen the public hearing, ask if there's any comments online, and then close it?
So stand by. Reopening the public hearing for those who may have been joining us online.
There's no public comment.
So we will now close the public hearing again. And I've probably spoken enough. I think I've probably.
Through the mayor. Hearing all the discourse that has gone on and the information that I've received is there's a piece of our jigsaw puzzle that is gone, that has left us with a void, that has left all of you with a void. However, you've now used this time for your administrative review. May I suggest in the future, anyone out there with any kind of a code enforcement, don't ignore it. I am in total agreement with the mayor on a lot of these things. They've been taken care of. I'm leaning towards that, using that as my information. But I do want to stress, you have used this as your administrative review. I caution the public in going in the future, don't do that. And with that, I yield my comment.
Good, Mayor. First of all, thank you all for showing up tonight and sharing your stories. You probably, through the questions I had, I'm really just trying to understand the process, and I'm right there with the Vice Mayor. The one common theme with everyone here, barring whether it's the chickens, whether it's the truck, whether it's the grass, there's a process on that, and no one followed the process. And so, whether or not there's, as you say it, holes in our jigsaw puzzle, that's how you put it, we need to look at our own house and make sure that that's all in order, to make sure that everything's documented there. If it's not, I trust Mr. Libby and his team. But the bigger scope of things is when you get those, as the person getting that, you have to respond. It's just like you get a notice from PG&E. They lost your payment in the mail or whatever. They send you a notice to cut off. They're going to come out and cut it off whether you're home or you're not, and then you got to deal with it. This is kind of a similar situation. But what I'm more moved with tonight is really the fact that this was a new process because we started it a few years ago, so it's something new to the city. And how do we lay the foundation going forward? If we were completely legalistic, it would be there's no wavering, there's no compassion, here's your fines, it's levied. But I think we can all learn from this. We as a council, we as a city, and you as residents. We need to make sure that we fill those voids. And Austin, you guys do a great job. So I want to say thank you to you guys. You guys do an awesome job that we've asked you to do. Whatever we're lacking on our side, let's use this as a learning moment to fill in those missing pieces to the puzzle and make sure that we are just a tight-knit ship as we're going along. But to the residents, you have a part in this as well, and that's do not ignore the things that the city sends you. And then where I moved tonight is there, I believe, was 4 of you that came here tonight that, as you said, used it as the appeal process, as the hearing, which we shouldn't have, but we used it. But you did take a few minutes tonight, and maybe the 4 of you will educate your neighbors or the next person that you hear that says, I got a notice, to not ignore it, but to follow the processes on there. So as where I'm kind of leaning in the compassion lane is the ones that showed up tonight is this is the free pass. As long as we can verify things are taken care of. Okay, like we talked, you've already shown us pictures, but they've got their process. It should be instantly done. But we show a little bit of compassion tonight. But also it's noted that, if we get another phone call for whatever at the same address, we've got procedures to go through and just follow the procedures. And I think we could be both amenable and learn and be compassionate and achieve our same goals tonight.
Through the mayor. Thank you. It's been said, but thank you for showing up for tonight's city council meeting. And whichever way this goes, I would like to circle back with the Peterson family. And since we are neighbors and we share a lot of the same concerns, and don't get me started on those chickens. These guys have known me long, and these guys in the back, they've known me long enough where, believe me, as a city, we gave it a shot, but the locals seem to like them. So we're just going to move past that. But it seems apparent that some of you folks have taken steps to remedy the problems from A to B, and I just reading the room, it sure seems it kind of feels like to me it's not really an issue of maybe the money, but it's more of an issue of your law-abiding citizens, and you feel like you got dinged, and that's kind of a lonely feeling, and so that's not what we're up here to do, I don't think. And again, code enforcement does have a very difficult job. And I mentioned it earlier in my limited time on the council, something that is probably an opinion, but it sure seems that most of these are complaint driven, meaning that the code enforcement isn't overly looking back behind things, and unless they're called, and a lot of time that's by our neighbors. So I'm just going to plant that seed, but we're not going to. I don't feel right about penalizing. Again, we do want to support staff and the process, but on the other side of that, if there have been these extenuating circumstances where, and we heard the stories about the medical issues and so I think we do need to take maybe another look at this process and yeah, that's where I'm at.
So bringing it back and resolving, I think what I've heard from us is there's some consensus about these particular 4. Let me make sure I got this right, is that we would, if those situations have been abated upon reinspection, then we would not penalize the 4 that came before us this evening. Okay. Mr. Schaff, and how are we enabled to do that?
We can, but I have a question for Mr. Libby. Do you have the 4 addresses at this point? If not, we
not have the 4 addresses. So if we could,
if you wouldn't mind, the Petersons, for example, what address are you? 580 Estates Drive. Mr. Radliff? It's also a Cooper Avenue right next to it. And then, I'm sorry, this couple that's right here that had your son, I'm sorry to hear about that with the truck. What's your address? Well, it's 3367 Canfield Court. And if someone would be able to ask, you have the address?
171 Wilbur Avenue.
171 Wilbur Avenue. So the motion would be to adopt the resolution and also authorize staff to confirm whether the properties have been abated, and if so, to remove the 4 or the 5 properties that have been identified tonight. And while we're at it, I noticed that the resolution did have a carryover reference to the interim city manager. I'm sure it's going to be a surprise to Mr. Bendorf, so we could clean that up as part of the approval. That would be great too. So that would be your motion.
And through the mayor, without repeating that, I could, but I move what our city attorney just said.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Shaw, a second by Councilmember Kirchner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. Public hearing and direction to staff has been delivered. Thank you, Mr. Libby. Austin, just like everyone said, your job is incredibly difficult out there and challenging. We do appreciate what you do. We really do. Welcome. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, sorry,
Okay.
apparently we missed one of the addresses.
So sorry about that. What address is that?
529 B Street.
529 B Street. And is there a consensus by the city council to add 529 B Street to the motion?
Yes.
Seeing everybody nodding, Councilmember Shaw, thank you.
All righty. Item number 13, Utilities 2026-2031 Industrial Wastewater Rate Schedule, presented by Mr. Phil Marler, our Utilities Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be briefly stepping in this evening. If you have any questions, you can certainly direct them to Phil. The city has been going through a process of modernizing its water and sewer rates. As part of this process, the city has already completed the Prop 218 process setting rate caps. There was not a majority protest. The city council has already approved utility rates for every type of user except for the industrial wastewater rates. That's the only one that's left. And that's the item before you tonight. The rates that are being proposed are and recommended by our independent consultant are consistent with previously approved Prop 218 caps, which were approved by the city council. And the recommendation is to adopt the resolution as noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Chaffin? All right. Seeing none, any comments from the public in the chambers? Seeing none. How about any comments online?
No public comment.
No public comments. All right. Bring it back to the council for action.
The mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion for business item 13 as presented by staff.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Kirchner, a second by Councilmember Shaw. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Item 13 passes unanimously. Item number 14, COPS grant purchase fiscal year 25-26, presented by Jim Runyon, Police Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So this is just a proposal for the purchases utilizing the COPS grant. It's called the Citizens Option for Public Safety. grant. It's meant for frontline law enforcement purposes. The amount we get varies every year, but this last year we had approximately $260,000 that we received from the state for this grant within fiscal year 25-26. The way this grant works is you can carry over any unused funds for additional years for essentially an unlimited amount of time. So this next year we had approximately $50,000 in purchases we were looking to make. We'll just briefly go over some of these items and what they are. Patrol-related items, it's a bleeding simulator for our tactical combat casualty care program, some AI report writing software for our patrol officers and detectives that will vastly help them complete their job faster. A portable pop-up building structure, it's meant for building clearing and training for our officers. Dispatch is also looking at an AI training tool for our dispatchers. The SWAT team would like to add some additional night vision and laser illumination for the team. Investigations, just some additional monitors that help them in their job with a lot of the duties they do. They just have lots of stuff on their screens that's going to help them get through their job faster. And infrastructure-wise, we're looking at some PRA software, or Public Records Act, software to help with our records. We've had a very large uptick in public records requests acts in the last 2 months. So that totals about $50,000 with a 10% contingency because none of them are formal quotes at this time. Fiscal impact, there's no city match required. Again, approximately $260,000 into a revenue account and $50,000 to expense accounts for the listed items. So the recommendation is to conduct a public hearing and after consideration, adopt a resolution and allocation, a receipt and allocation and the expenditure of these COPS grant monies and authorize the finance director to make any budget adjustments as necessary. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Chief Runyon? Seeing none, go ahead and open the public hearing. The public hearing for COPS grant purchases fiscal year 25-26 is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on this issue, please provide your statement from the podium and state your name and address for the record. Any comments from the public? Okay. Any comments online?
No public comment.
Do we even have anybody online?
We do have a couple, yes.
Just curious. Hearing no further comment on this issue, I'll be closing the public hearing and bringing the matter back to the council.
Mayor?
Sir.
Move to adopt COPS grant purchase fiscal year 25-26, adopt resolution authorizing receipt, allocation, expenditure of the fiscal year 25-26 State of California Citizens Option Public Safety Grant, COPS grant, authorize finance department to make the budget adjustments as necessary.
Second.
I have a motion by the Vice Mayor, a second by Councilmember Shaw. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was tardy there, sorry. Any opposition? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Item 14 passes unanimously. Item number 15, a development services fee update presented by Mr. Libby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I promise this item will be substantially shorter than my last. But I will note on the last item, I've already talked with Austin and he'll be going out tomorrow to confirm those sites. So, okay, for the development services fee update. So my department provides necessary planning and building permitting services to residents and developers. We did a comprehensive fee update in 2025. You might remember that. It was the first comprehensive update since 2001. Over the last fiscal year, staff has identified additional services provided where costs have not been recouped through fees. So, and we did have one, I'll just say, one mistake. So we learned that somehow the development plan review fee got omitted from the fee update that was brought forward last year. So really for this item is to bring it back. We're not proposing to any increase for it. It's really bring it back as it was. We want to study it, look at the time commitment, and then if we needed to make adjustments, do so. So the new fees, temporary use permits, with the new mobile vendor ordinance. It provides for temporary use permits. We don't have a fee for that. It would establish a modest fee for that. Addressing, we do address changes for new addresses for commercial uses or changes of addressing, as well as for new subdivisions. There's a time commitment with each of those. We're trying to capture some of that time. Water efficient landscaping. This is an unfunded state mandate that cities and counties have had to deal with for a better part of a decade or more. And so this is really to just cover our costs for plan review and inspection in compliance with state law and report the results to Department of Water Resources annually. You may recall that alcoholic beverage control licensing, we periodically bring forward for findings of public convenience and necessity. We've been doing that for free. And so we're looking at recouping a few hours of staff time to be able to bring that forward to your council. And then clarifying that if we use a consultant to prepare an environmental document, it's done at cost. The city is not paying that cost. And then we're confirming the statutory residential solar fee and the city's residential fire sprinkler fee. These are the fees. When you see like the $210, that's a lot of these fees were established based upon a mid-level associate planner. And so like the temporary use permit, the $210 represents like 3 hours of their time. And so those are the fees. Most of them on that screen make up the development plan review fee that we're reintroducing. So city staff analyze the actual costs of time to complete the various tasks to establish the fees proposed, and building service fees were also derived from the state or the International Code Council building code requirements. Now, this is a targeted fee update. It may not provide full cost recovery. It does achieve better fiscal responsibility while documenting the services that building and planning provides. So the recommendation is to conduct a public hearing and adopt a resolution amending the fee schedule changes for planning and building services. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Libby. Any questions for Mr. Libby? Seeing none. Public hearing for the development services fee update is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on this issue, please provide your statement from the podium and state your name and address for the record. Do we have any comments from the people in this chambers? Nobody rushing to the podium. Do we have any comments online?
No public comment.
Okay. Hearing no further comment on this issue, I'm closing the public hearing and bringing the matter back to the council.
Through the mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution amending the schedule of fees and charges for planning and building services beginning fiscal year 26-27.
Second.
Okay.
Dealer's choice.
I have a motion by Councilmember Kirchner and a tie motion between Councilmember Shaw and the Vice Mayor. We'll give this one to Councilmember Shaw. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. Item passes unanimously. Item 16, future agenda. Any items that you would like to have on the agenda at a future meeting?
Through the mayor?
Yeah.
I do want to follow up with myself. I made a comment last meeting. I'd like to bring up as a speaker, a director of the mission to talk about their services to Yuba City. And I will take the initiative to reach out to him and get that scheduled.
Good enough. Anybody else? No? Reports and communications. Following reports and communication items are provided for the council's information. No action can be taken on these items under this section unless the council agrees to include it on a subsequent agenda. Mr. Bendorf, you're up.
No comments.
Okay. That was quick. 18, city council reports. We'll start with Councilmember Kirchner tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I begin my lengthy my comments tonight, I would like to have a huge shout out to the city of Yuba City, Marysville, both counties. 4th of July was a home run. It's really cool, just this idea of people staying in our area and not going elsewhere to spend their money. Everything I heard about the 3rd with the fireworks, everything went off great. We had the unbelievable turnout, Plymouth Street for the parade, and then to top that all up for the drone show. I'd like to thank everybody that was involved with that. and the folks that kept us safe for the weekend, law enforcement and first responders. So with SASA covered for Councilmember Cole, great. Adopted fiscal year 27-27 budget with transit. Looks like we had, what would we do? Transportation Development Act claim for 2027. Not much. Oh, it looks like, that's the big, okay, there we go. It's been a while. They had their audit and they came in fully compliant, and that was the big news. And then the other thing is they're going to start looking at the possibility of extending service out to Hard Rock Casino, which is starting to look like they needed the service. Food bank. Unfortunately, we got a freezer that's broke, and that's going to be expensive. So they're looking for funding for that. And to wrap it up, they had to move their next fundraiser, which is Lights, Camera, Hunger, Action, because of a conflict of Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. And they're going to put that on September 12th because that is a busy time of year for fundraisers. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next up is Councilmember Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not much to report because you just reported out of SASA. We adopted the budget, but huge shout out to, the city team, especially with everything, fire, PD, public works, everybody, complete home run. Mr. Bendorf, excellent job, sir, with everything, keeping that 3rd and 4th of July right on track, middle of the goalpost where it needs to be. Heard nothing but positivity out of it all. And we are going on for the 251st year. So thank you.
Good. All right. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm not going to reiterate any of the stuff that's been said. I would like to point out the fact that on July 1st that SRCC came out and did some tremendous cleanups for the city of Yuba City. And I want to shout out that that's a big priority. And thank you, Robert, for coordinating that, and whoever else was involved in that. That's huge. And majority of it, unfortunately, is in District 3. I'd also, the email that I got about the letter of commending one of our officers, Chief Christian Nachand. Is that how you say it? Nachand. That's not publicized enough, Chief. If anything we can do to make that more prevalent and so the community sees what your officers actually do and go beyond, and a person to take that much effort in such a stressful situation to do what they did, please pass on my thank yous to him for doing his job above and beyond. And with that, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Kind of a busy time, and we haven't been meeting a lot. So if one or two of these things I've already commented on, I apologize. But attended the change of command at Beale, and have chatted with the Beale personnel out there, and Colonel Cameron and members of his staff, and any honorary commanders that may have changed. We'll be bringing them in probably September, as we did before, just to introduce them to to our staff and their staffs to us. They did mention that there will be an air show again in 2027. So I can't read. I think it's August or September, April. Okay, April-ish of 27. So a little bit of a heads up there. Attended a ribbon cutting at one of our new home developers in town, LGI Homes. Several of us were there. After that ribbon cutting, it happened on a Friday. They had open house over the weekend, sold 14 homes here in Yuba City. And so it's kind of one of those things that makes you scratch your head. It's not a bad thing by any means. It's just that, you keep hearing about housing and unaffordable housing, and all of a sudden a new developer comes into town with slightly different product and they're selling. Attended the summer stroll, again, another great event downtown. Looked like it was well attended. The weather cooperated this year. Attended an officer swearing in. Chief was always a good event, and your stand-in did an admirable job. You were away on vacation or on other, but he did well. The fair, the Yuba-Sutter Fair, we had an opportunity to go and witness the fair at their opening day or opening evening. Fair seems to be really turning the corner, doing some stuff, trying to engage the whole community, which I think is great. I also like to mention that the fairgrounds was instrumental in the drone show. And Dave Dillaboo, who's the general manager of the fair, I believe that's his title, he's trying to open up the fairgrounds to folks and the things that they've done down there. And I've asked the city manager if we could bring Mr. Dillaboo in so that we could recognize him for the contributions he's making to our community, on behalf of him and his board, by the way. 4th of July parade, this was year 23. And I think probably this was probably the most highly attended parade that I remember ever being involved with. And I know as we were walking south on Plymouth Street, and I looked back and saw the mass of kids that were traveling underneath the arch with the new Yuba City Arch, it was pretty awesome just to see that. And I know that a lot of staff, parks, fire, public works, PD, all have to participate in that. So, and if I missed anybody, I didn't do so on purpose. And then the drone show, wow. I've never seen a drone show in person. And Robert, I know that you were extremely instrumental. I know you had some help from Carrie Hauk and others in regard Cameo, Living Good, et cetera. But I don't think it happens without your leadership. I really do believe that. And so us as a city to participate and have a 250th year celebration. And I don't know how many people are at the fairgrounds because I'm bad at it, but bad at guessing that stuff. But there had to be 3,000 to 5,000 people down there easy. And, that's a good thing. And we'll have to figure out whether we do fireworks or drones, or as Robert suggested, there's a mix now too. I don't know how you do fireworks and not shoot the drones out of the sky, but we'll figure that out. Final thing I'd like to comment on is the Yuba-Sutter Freebirds, the baseball team that plays locally with comparable to single A baseball. They have set up a situation where the local governmental agencies have the opportunity to participate in a night at the ballpark. And these are the things that they're offering. A 30% discount on ticket prices to anybody in Yuba City with a special discount code. They'll be playing the Oakland Ballers, who are a very good team out of the Bay Area. It will be Friday, August 7th, which is a fireworks night. And the challenge is to fill the stadium. And so if we are the successful local governmental agency that gets the most attendance, a couple things happen. Number one, we get bragging rights. But number two, there's a special little prize. But most importantly, I think, is 25% of the revenue that's generated that night will go to a charitable organization that this council gets to pick. And so there's a lot of good coming from this. And so Wade, Dave, Mike, and I'll talk to Tony, and get your arms ready because we have to throw out the first pitch. But I know Robert, he'd probably burn it right into the catcher because he's such a good athlete, but we'll have to figure it. But we've got uniforms now too, so. Yes, yeah, if you didn't see the uniforms that Councilmember Shaw had designed for us from one of our local vendors, we stood out. Yeah, we stood out. With that, thank everybody, and love to see everybody here that can make it, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks if we don't see you earlier. Meeting's adjourned.
Recording stopped.
Government Watch, you can support or sponsor. Help keep the community aware with Yuba-Sutter.LIVE.